Hello everybody, welcome to the video. So today we're going to finish off the rest of the section about the external world. So we have looked at the external world through our senses, and for each sense we have just looked at, so you see an apple and you see, well, I'm not really seeing an apple, I'm seeing some color. And is there really, can I see two things there, color and an apple? No, there's just the color. And then you say, well, is there an observer to the color? Can I see an observer observing the apple? In my direct experience, if I just focus on seeing and I forget conceptual stuff, is there an observer to the apple? No, not to the color. No, not really. It's just seeing a color. There's seeing of a color. And you think, well, okay, so there's seeing and there's color. So does my seeing reach out to touch the color? If so, what would an unseen color be? What could that look like? Or maybe, yes, so the color's there and then you come and meet it. So we said that it's not actually color, it's just seeing. And then we looked at seeing, we looked at awareness, how awareness is there. And then we have seeing, a type of knowing. And then it goes away again and we're left with awareness. So if before and after there's awareness in the middle, there is knowing. There's just a form of awareness. So everything is just awareness, unbroken awareness. And we did that with all the senses. We showed, and then we looked at if combinations of the senses or intensity of the experience means that there's anything outside producing that experience. And I gave the example of a dead animal in your loft, that if you can smell it, it's a slight smell, you don't think there's anything there. Maybe not. Strange. A strong smell, you start thinking there's definitely something there, this intensity. So the intensity gives us the feeling there really is something out there. The combination of senses gives us the feeling there's something out there. But really, if we separate the senses, well, there's a seeing in awareness, there's a hearing in awareness, there's a touch in awareness. That doesn't mean that they're pointing to anything. It just means that there are things arising in awareness. The last of these is movement. Movement is slightly connected to intensity, because basically movement is just an increase or decrease in intensity of the sense that we're talking about. We're not actually going to look at a locomotion, which is movement of the body, because that involves kind of more thought. It feels like it's moving from the inside. There's all these other things that go on, like you have, well, there's movement, but there's also, this feeling that there's proprioception, which is the feeling where how your body's in a certain position. You can feel it in that position without looking. And there's the kinesthesia, this feeling that you're moving. So moving, your actual body moving is more complicated, and we look at that when we're looking at the body. For the moment, we're just looking at movement of the external world. Now we'll go through them one by one. First, hearing. So something gets louder and you think it's coming towards you. And if something's coming towards you, then it must be outside you in a three-dimensional world, because it's coming towards you. It can't just be in awareness, but really it can. It's just in your awareness coming towards you. But to see if there's anything that's really 10 meters away from your body that's coming towards you, the signals are being sent into your brain and you're producing it there. Now, does this increase in sound mean that there is something outside awareness that's coming closer to us? No, it's just an increase in volume. So you can do it by turning up your speaker, turning down your speaker. It doesn't mean that your speaker's coming closer or further away from you. Then we can look at sight. So things actually seem to move. You can actually see them moving. James, I could see it moving. The ball just rolled across the floor. But we can see it very clearly with television. With cartoons even more, because the cartoons are not even, it's not like anyone filmed anything actually happening, but these movements are not real. What's happening is there's lots of images, there's change. There's an image, and there's a different image, and there's a different image, and there's a different image. And this gives the impression that there is something solid there that is moving. But we also, we could say that if we discovered that when we look at something, there's nothing external to our awareness, there's no pointing to an external object, because there's change, it doesn't mean that it's any more real. It doesn't go stationary, unreal, to moving, suddenly it's real because it's moved. No. And we can see very well with the television and within dreams, what is moving in your dream. When a horse rides across the savannah, I don't know what horse is doing in the savannah, but it's not really and nothing's moving. It's consciousness that's changing. Now, later, when we look at the mind, we will also break down change as well. So even that will be taken away, and time as well. But we'll leave that for later. So something's moving. It doesn't mean that anything's out there. Now, then we go on to hearing. So hearing's a bit like, we did hearing, smelling. So smelling's a bit like hearing. It's something gets stronger, it's coming towards you. Something external to you is coming closer. It doesn't mean that, just getting stronger. Then we look at touch. Now, touch is quite strong. You touch something, you feel it moving. Now, you feel it moving partly because of all the body movements. So that we look at in the body to make sure that it's not actually anything external to awareness. But if we just touch something that's moving, a knife, for example, the problem is that it brings a lot of emotion into it. So we're afraid if the knife is moving that we're going to get cut. And so it makes a stronger reality effect because of this, because it's some movement and we're in danger of being harmed. Now, we look at pain and hurt also during the body analysis. So we'll break that down. But really, movement is just a change in texture. It's just variations in the experience. Now, we can continue using words like things are moving to communicate, to talk about this experience that we're having. We live in this transactional world, and just because we're exploring, breaking down this on the very deep level to find out the fundamental reality of our current experience, it doesn't mean that we can't talk about being me or you being here, or, people who do that, it's, they eliminate themselves, but then there's all the other things they don't eliminate. It's either you play that game or you don't play, and don't play the game half-hearted. So you're in the game, you may as well play it. Don't suddenly start saying, oh no, I can't talk about movement. Nothing's moving, there's just consciousness. But you can say that too, especially in comments if you want with me. I know what you're talking about. So then we've got also flavor. So flavor, when flavor disintegrates in your mouth, it seems like something's getting smaller, that there's an object there and it's reducing in size, this change. It's the same. It's just the change in a sensation. So, and as I say, we'll look at change later to dismantle that as well. So we can see that through movement, it doesn't prove there's anything out there. And in fact, when we let go of this feeling of having to meet our conceptual plan of the world with what's going on, there's some the way it doesn't fit, we get anxiety and plans and how things should be happening. When we let go of that and we see it more as this ourselves, our unlimited self here, then it gives us a feeling of freedom. That's what Greg Goode said, isn't he? Yeah, he does say that. He says something like sweet freedom, which I connect to. So, right. Did I do them all? Did I smell, taste, touch? Yes, I think so. So there we go. So we've finished it. Now onto the body. Some of the body is similar to the outside world, touch. But it includes lots more and seems so authentic that we are really here because we have this body. The mind is always the exciting one to break down. It can get a bit freaky sometimes, but the body is actually a really important one if you want to stop feeling like you are this individual person in the body. And that's what we're going to work on next. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.